Hey everyone, welcome back to Planet Phobia. Today we're going to take a look at the zombie flick, Alone. If you're in the mood for a good zombie flick, this one checks many of the boxes you're looking for. Easy plot that makes sense? Check. Likeable main characters? Check. Survivalist aspects? Check. Realistic zombies and great action? Check. If these are what you look for in a good movie, then this one fits the bill. Released in 2020 and starring Tyler Posey as Aiden and Summer Spiro as Eva, this movie also has a great cameo appearance by Donald Sutherland. At only 92 minutes, you can bang this one out pretty quick and you shouldn't be disappointed. This movie comes with a rated R rating, but besides the run-of-the-mill ass shot and typical zombie violence, this movie doesn't travel too far down the road of gore and trauma that some other movies traverse. Why would a young man, seemingly at the peak of his existence, decide to end it all? Well, that's the question we have to ask ourselves in the first 5 minutes of this movie. Because our first scene is of Aiden hanging from a noose, barely keeping contact with a chair to stay alive. As the audience, we are made aware that it's 42 days into something, but before any more light can be shed on Aiden's actions, we cut away. Now we go back in time and see Aiden and his lady friend in bed. She awakes and bounces before any awkward morning after banter can take place. After Aiden realizes she has left, he starts to hear a commotion in the hallways outside his apartment. Soon, the television airs an emergency broadcast explaining that people are turning into screaming maniacs and that this disease is spread through bites. Next, chaos ensues. Before Aiden can react, his unlocked door is opened and his neighbor Brandon rushes in. They have an intense stare-off before Aiden grabs a kitchen knife. They each realize what is going on, but Brandon says he is fine. As we find out, this is quite the overstatement. Brandon is not fine. He has been bit on the back of his neck and his eyes begin to turn blood red. Before he can completely turn, Aiden politely shows him the way out. Remember kids, even in the apocalypse, don't forget to use your manners. Once things settle down a little, Aiden does the logical thing and gets tanked while watching news reports. Given the circumstances, this seems pretty reasonable. While the story unfolds, Aiden does his best to try and reach out to his family. He finally gets messages from his father, telling Aiden that they are still alive and hopefully his sister will make it safely to their cabin. His advice for his son is simple: stay alive. On day 7 of the outbreak, Aiden starts his vlog. It's basically an emotional release for him. He shares his thoughts on the outbreak. And as the outbreak becomes a full-blown pandemic, he shares that he's never been alone a day in his life. On day 19, we learn his booze supply is still holding strong. Great! However, he's starting to run low on other supplies, and soon the water is shut off. Aiden keeps up with his vlog, and we really get some insight on his mental health, as this communication with his computer is the only thing that seems to keep him sane. Soon, his first real test appears in the form of a zombie woman who has climbed through the vents above the ceiling and comes crashing through the opening in his bathroom. Aiden, although startled, seems prepared for this inevitability and goes all King Griffey Jr. on his head with his trusty Louisville Slugger. Once that's out of the way, he wraps her body up and disposes of it, then places a surfboard between the floor and the bathroom opening, preventing any other unwanted visitors. For real, I mean, how rude. As day 42 approaches, he finally gets a voice message from his parents. All seems well until they are attacked by screamers. It sounds as though they didn't make it out of this encounter, and Aiden is rightfully heartbroken. This is a good time to mention that the zombies are sometimes referred to as screamers. They are your typical zombie, however, they seem to know what they are doing but have no control over it. Most of them repeat a phrase such as stop, be quiet, go away, help me, save me, it hurts, and kill me. Is this the last shreds of their conscience showing through, or the last words spoken before turning into a bloodthirsty maniac? I don't know, what do you think? Either way, it is pretty creepy and cool. After learning the fates of his parents, Aiden, filled with rage, grabs his trusty bat and leaves his apartment for the first time, entering into the hallway looking for some zombies to exact his revenge. This proves to be a bad decision as zombies swarm from all corners. Poor Brandon is still around, crawling on the floor, turned and pleading for mercy. Aiden steps over him as he makes it back to his apartment with no time to spare. After this, the power goes out. As all these negative things begin to pile up, we make it full circle back to the opening of the movie. Perched on a chair with a noose around his neck, Aiden prepares to say farewell and shuffle off his mortal coil. At this exact moment, he notices a lovely lady in the nearby apartment complex. Her flowing blonde hair and lovely features gives him a reason to live on. After some trouble, he finally loosens himself from the noose. Don't get it twisted, this lady is very attractive, but after 42 days of no communication, I think my man would have done the same for a talking turnip. Aiden, with newfound vigor, makes his last vlog. Soon the two lock eyes and begin to communicate using signs. Next, a welcomed rainstorm comes through, and Aiden takes this opportunity to get butt naked and take a shower on the balcony. As this happens, the neighbor girl can't help herself and takes a cheeky peek, apparently liking what she sees. The two continue to communicate, and it is obvious these two share some chemistry with each other. Aiden throws her a rope attached to a baseball and creates a zip line to send her supplies. Next, we are treated to a parkour zombie who notices the girl, who we find out is named Eva. This zombie just slammed 10 Red Bulls or found some devil's dandruff somewheres because he is fast and begins to jump from balcony to balcony. Aiden, seeing the danger that Eva is in, starts making noise to distract the zombie and come after him instead. Once again, he uses his bat to dispatch some zombies, then, while talking to himself, comes up with a plan to save Eva, as she is in the same boat as he is, having zombies banging on her wall able to break in at any moment. Beginning to scavenge the nearby apartments, he finds rock climbing gear in Brandon's apartment and takes out a couple more of the undead. His next find is a set of walkie-talkies. Once he gets one to Eva, they begin to talk like teenagers. Seriously though, this must have been great for the both of them, with going so long only being able to communicate with themselves. After chatting with Eva, Aiden decides to scavenge more, hoping that if he finds enough food and supplies, he and Eva can outlast the zombies, assuming, given enough time, they will eventually starve to death. He climbs back into the vents and lands in another apartment, stocked with canned goods and peanut butter. Then he makes the ultimate discovery. Twinkies! As Aiden is rummaging around, he is caught by surprise. He sees a figure, at first thinking it's a zombie. It's actually an old man holding an improvised spear for a weapon. The two of them begin to chat, and we learn this man's name is Edward. Edward is played by Donald Sutherland, and this is a great role. Also, it doesn't hurt to throw some star power into this movie. They discuss losing loved ones and if either of them had to kill anyone. Aiden says he's had to kill the dead to survive. Edward, coming off as a pacifist, laments the loss of his wife and tells Aiden he has not killed anyone, holding out hope that a cure can reverse the symptoms of this horrible infection. However, after distracting Aiden with some top-shelf alcohol, he hits Aiden in the back of the head with his own bat, and Aiden goes unconscious. As Aiden begins to fade back into reality, we are met with a truly horrific scene. Lucy, Edward's wife, is chained to the wall in a bedroom, living on a dirty bed, and she has turned. Edward believes it is his duty to still care for his wife even though she's a zombie. He must feed her, and aside from the couple's 2 dogs, Aiden is the first sacrifice. As the two talk, Edward has the most quotable line from the movie as he says, "Everyone will have to be forgiven unforgivable things." I think this quote really sums up what surviving the apocalypse means. To survive a scenario like this, you'll have to travel to the dark side and back. From this scene on, the movie really comes into its own. Edward tells Aiden he can take as many pain pills as he likes, then he will cut open an artery so he'll slowly bleed out. This way, Lucy can eat without a struggle, but Aiden still needs to be alive or Lucy won't have any interest. Lucky for Aiden, he breaks free, throws Edward on the bed, and instead of Aiden, Edward becomes the sacrifice. Next, Eva is being overrun by zombies and Aiden makes his way to her, finding a shotgun and taking out some zombies, while others on the rooftop can't help themselves and begin to swan dive off the roof to get to him. Aiden avoids the chaos the best he can and makes it to Eva. As they battle the dead to make their way back to Aiden's, the zombies attack Aiden. He fights them off to protect Eva, But is it too late? Has he been bitten by the infected? This is the question we have as the two make it to the apartment. Aiden, fearing the worst, jumps on top of his balcony preparing to jump. He doesn't want to turn and attack Eva. He'd rather jump to his doom than hurt her. As he stands on the edge of life or death, he takes his shirt off to check out the damage done by the attacking zombies, only to realize their bite did not make it past his clothes. This movie closes with Aiden and Eva embracing each other, realizing they are stronger together and maybe, just maybe, they can stay alive. Alright, zombie fans, time to break this one down. From start to finish, this movie holds your attention. From understanding how loneliness can break you down to scenes of survival. This movie really comes into its own after the scene with Aiden and Edward. Learning he's trying to care for his wife by bringing her fresh sacrifices adds a nice twist this movie needed. From there, the action picks up with Aiden and Eva fighting their way to Aiden's apartment. The tension builds, not knowing if Aiden will survive or not. Then the payoff comes with the knowledge that they've made it and have a chance at survival. This movie belongs on the must-watch list, and you can stream it for free on Tubi. For a ranking, I give Alone 3 out of 5 brains. But what do you think of this movie? Have you seen it? Are you a fan, or does this one not measure up for you? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and check out my other content.
I like to put stuff online.